Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the fantasy football universe. I know a lot of you seen us a few minutes ago for the 3-round IDP rookie mock draft. Now we're going to do a 5-round IDP veteran draft, dynasty one here. We've got only 2 of us in it and a bunch of empty slots, so we're just going to kind of, you're going to see a lot of auto picks here, but we're going to kind of talk it through who we'd like to go and where we're going to go with this. I am Aaron St. Dennis. You can find me on Twitter at FFMadScientist. He is Steve Hungarter. You can find him at IDP Hunter. Alrighty, I guess we can get into it. Like I said, this one's a pretty standard one. We're just going to start out. I've got it as 1 defensive lineman, 1 linebacker, 1 defensive back, and 2 IDP flex. Standard settings. So as you can see, Micah Parsons is the number 1 off the board. It'll be followed by probably Nick Bosa. Although I've noticed that Sleeper, they're bots. They're programmed to randomly improvise. So you'll have, I noticed it in a few of the bots we had where it got auto picked in our regular, like the regular rookie draft. We had like, they took Troy Franklin at 102 a few times just to improvise. So we'll see where it goes. I would love it if the computer gifted me Micah Parsons. I don't think they will. I think he's equal to the other 3 here, Parsons, Bosa, and Roquan, but I love me a player with dual eligibility. So we will cue this bad boy up if you're ready to go.
I'm ready.
Right. Let's go. So we have Parsons and Bosa. So the computer did not randomly improvise. It went Parsons and Bosa. There's no timer, so we can talk through our picks here. They have Roquan on the board next, and I agree Roquan is the next highest on the board. I'm tempted to go TJ Watt because I love me dual position eligibility. What are your thoughts there on Roquan? Even Foye Oluokun. What are your thoughts here on the top 3, Roquan, Watt, and Oluokun?
I'm a big scoring setting, where you go, how's your scoring. But I mean, honestly, if everything is all even, Steven, then I will go the eligibility player because you can move him around. So yeah, these top 3 picks should be in that order: a Bosa, a Garrett type, a Watt, a Parsons, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was for me. Like you said, there's no real. It's a balanced scoring is what we're pretending to go with here. So, I do have a timer.
Place to be. So
I do have a timer on. 1 sec. I'm going to turn the timer on. No limit. Okay. I was like, why is it rushing my pick?
So what's interesting here, when you get to the 10 in the back pick here, all the good guys are off the board. The Fred Warners, it is to that, whatever, right? If you look at the computer, the ADP screws you. I think Devin White's the next linebacker up. I'm not doing that. Yeah. So I'm going to go off the ADP. I'm going to take a player who had a breakout season and continue for more. Let me tell you about him, Aaron. LB8 total points, LB7 the year before. LB2 in fantasy playoffs for me. He averaged 23.7 from week 15 to 17. I know this guy sounds like a godsend, but he's a work in progress. PFF graded him an 82.1. That's 6th best among linebackers. How many linebackers went off the board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, don't pick your guy just yet. Don't pick him just yet.
Oh, I wanted to. Okay.
Keep talking and say who it is, but I'm gonna recap before, because if you click the pick, it's gonna go into the next auto pick.
Gotcha. Okay. So for me, this is the 6th best linebacker, and we've already had a bunch of guys off the board. It's a breakout. The ADP hasn't caught up yet to Mr. Ernest Jones. So that's my selection.
Yeah, he is way down the board.
So that's the thing with that 10 pick. You got to play dealer's choice, and you got to know your ADP, or you're not going to be able to keep up with it.
So after I went TJ Watt, we had a run of linebackers. I went Roquan, Foye Oluokun, Nick Bolton. Then we had Myles Garrett and Max Crosby at D lineman back-to-back. Fred Warner, the linebacker, went at 109. That's where you're right. I don't like the 110 you have. The top.
Yeah, that's why I did it. Just to appease the audience. I just did it there because the linebacker there, you can still run defensive line, but for me, especially the way you said, I get 2 flex spots linebacker. I'm going to take Ernest Jones, and I'm just going to screw up the ADP a little bit.
See, this is where I don't like the top of the board there. My pick would have been probably Aiden Hutchinson, the D lineman, but the top 3, they have 1 of each position. The top linebacker, I don't really want Devin White. The top defensive lineman I liked, and then the next best player is Derwin James at DB.
And I'm know
not
that
taking a DB this early. Like you look, there's 4 or 5 of the next 6 players are DB. I'm not going DB this early, so you can take Ernest Jones now if that's what you want.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, the 1.10, I just wanted to shake it up a little bit so the audience at home has a real life comparison. Ernest
Yeah.
Jones is my guy here.
And I'm going to hope Aiden Hutchinson gets to me. He didn't. Oh, because it's a snake draft. It's a snake. So you're back on the board.
Oh, we
So
did the
we
snake.
had
Oh,
Devin
okay.
White followed by Aiden Hutchinson. And then we start. I'm going to pause this 1 sec. Don't make your pick.
Yeah.
So first round we had 101 was Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, TJ Watt at 3, Roquan Smith 4, Foye Oluokun 5, Nick Bolton 6, Myles Garrett 7, Max Crosby 8, Fred Warner 9, Ernest Jones 10, Devin White 11, 12 is Aiden Hutchinson. Then we start off the second round with Sauce Gardner at 1, Derwin James at 2. That is a computer there. Unless you're an inexperienced player, I don't think anyone's really going to start a run. I expect to see a run on DB here because we're going to get a few auto picks. I'm going to work that to my benefit because I can tell you I don't think there's much chance of a DB being my next pick, and I doubt the DB will be your next pick. So who is up for you at the 203?
So I would go DL here, and it's interesting because there's one that's in the ADP that looks good, and there's one that's not even on this board.
I have 2 in mind. I wonder if they're either the ones you're thinking. I have
Right.
Brian Burns and Josh Allen in my head. Who are yours?
I was going to go Josh Allen here.
Okay.
And again, I love the metrics. I don't care where he goes. I just love a Josh Allen. So that would have been my
down
pick
at 40 here. Oh, and he's dual position eligible. So I love this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead. You can make your pick if that's who you want. You're good.
Okay, hold on. I got to go back to.
He's down to 40. 40 overall is where he is in the ADP.
Yeah, this is going to be insane. Hold on a minute.
So I can make it. I'll set it for you. I can set it for you.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then we have Minkah Fitzpatrick, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jalen Petrie, Hassan Reddick, Quinnen. Was that Quinnen or Quincy? I can never remember which. That's Quinnen.
That was Quinnen.
I can never remember which one is which. We have Quay Walker, and it's to me at the 210. We see quite a bit more DB in that second round than I think we normally would. These tend to be a lot higher. I'm impressed. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You
7.
See it. You 7 see what I see.
Mm-hmm. So I am going to take a look here of the board. I think the guy I wanted to take, I was either taking Josh Allen or Brian Burns. Brian Burns got to me. I feel like Brian Burns is a free agent. That's probably why he's lower down. Oh, nope. They're expected to franchise tag him. I don't know if can you see that on my screen? Yes, you can.
I see that. Yeah.
Yep. So Brian Burns is the easy choice for me. I think my next pick would have been probably Chase Young. Although Joey Bosa, I don't mind Joey Bosa, but I think I'm hoping that one of these two of either Bosa or Young gets back to me. We'll find out. I'm going to hit I'm going to hit Brian Burns here. And then I'm going to pause it when it gets back to me. So one of them got back to me. So the second round was Sauce Gardner, Derwin James, Josh Allen, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jalen Petrie, Hassan Reddick, Quinnen Williams, Quay Walker. I took Brian Burns, Patrick Queen, and Hufanga. I can't say his first name. Good luck. Can you pronounce his first name? I can't.
I think it's Hufanga. Oh, no, I don't know. First name? No, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know it's Hufanga. I just can't pronounce the.
I'm the worst.
Yeah, no worse. I can't. Mm-hmm. That's my single worst part of IDP. I can't do half the names, but we see way more DBs taken in this round than you would normally see as a result of the auto pick. They're not improvising nearly as much, these sleeper bots, when it's IDP. So I had said that I was hoping that either Chase Young or Joey Bosa got back to me. So I'm going to go with another dual position D lineman linebacker here, and I'm going to go Joey Bosa, giving me Watt, Burns, and Bosa. And you'll pretty much have the same thing, a dual threat. Is Jones a dual threat?
No, Ernest is not. So he's
I didn't think so. He's just straight linebacker. Okay, so I'm going to go Joey Bosa, and we're going to have a run here on looks like linebacker. So Joey Bosa is.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa, Jordan Brooks, Jeremy Chin, Shaq Leonard, Jalen Ramsey, L'Jarius Sneed, Diggs, and it is you on the clock at 3:10. Once again, we have way more DBs in this because the sleepers IDP, it's like they just rank it based on name. I don't know if Sleeper has ever. Well, I guess look at their rookie IDP. They haven't even loaded it in, so I don't really think Sleeper gives a damn about IDP. So
They don't. And you know what? When people don't give a damn and we're the redheaded stepchild, we exploit it. Guys like me and you, we exploit the
yeah,
standard. There's
I
a
love
defensive lineman right now who's a top 5 defensive lineman, and he's buried in ADP. And to be honest, we don't know. He's an unrestricted free agent. Where is he
you
going to
checking
go?
Hunter.
You got him. Is it a 3-4 or a 4-3? Is he going to have his hand in dirt next level or not? But heck, I got Hunter, who I can rotate either linebacker, defensive end. I got Jet Island, linebacker, defensive end. And in my opinion, I got a top 5 defensive back. I feel like I'm crushing this draft.
He is 16 overall for me.
Buried.
He is 81 in Sleeper ADP,
I will
and
take
he's
it,
dual
sir.
eligible.
I will take it gladly.
Good God, I'll set it for you. That's why, especially in these, non-mainstream formats, really do your research. You even see it with the rookies. I mean, the rookies, their ADP stabilizes a bit, but there were times when I first started doing rookie drafts that there were guys buried. You'd have guys like Javon Baker, Jalen Wright, not even on the board. So you take Denis Hunter. I'm going to pause this here. I'm going to pause it. We'll recap the third round. We have Chase Young, Isaiah Simmons, Joey Bosa, Jordan Brooks, Chin, Leonard, Ramsey, Snead, Diggs, Hunter, Franklin, and Dre Greenlaw. Then we hit back at the 401, Logan Wilson, Jaquan Brisker, and it is you at the 403. You have 2 D linemen and a linebacker. Is Josh Allen?
Yes, sir.
Is
And
Josh Allen? Oh, yeah. So you have 2 dual eligibilities and a linebacker.
I'm doing great. Yeah. Now, Aaron, if I was to ask you a question.
Yeah.
If there was a defensive back still on the board all the way in the 4th with 117 tackles, 5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions in 16 games, wouldn't you call me crazy not to take him here?
I'm trying to see who you have on the board here. I'm trying to scroll down. I
The
think
number
at this
one
point,
defensive back, in my opinion, Mr. Antoine Winfield.
Is that who you got at 1?
And he's still just sitting there because sleeper bots are crazy. So give me the number 1 defensive back, in my opinion.
Where is he on mine? Do I have him buried that much?
This whole draft board's buried. So
no, I don't.
like
No, okay, no, okay. I have him. You're right. I have him as DB1 also, but my DB1 falls in the 30s, so he was down. But that's fine. You're past 36, so I think I'm ready to start looking DB mid to early 3rd round. I don't want a DB in the first 2 rounds unless it's skewed towards them.
I can't believe he fell. I mean, that's DB1 value, DB2, and look how many backs have already been gone. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there you go.
There he is. 51.
10 worked in my favor.
Yep, we see a whole bunch here. Yeah, there's probably. I don't think I would have taken any of those over him. Then it gets back to me. Now we're at an interesting point here. I think the highest player I have left on the board is Chris Jones. Chris Jones. I'm not a fan of Chancey Gardner-Johnson. He's played for my 2 favorite teams, and I think I just don't like him as a person. He seems to be a goofball.
What do you mean?
He's just a goof on the field. He's fighting he got in a fight with Michael Thomas in practice. He's always taking personal fouls on he's not when he was the guy on the Lions when the Lions were up on the 49ers by 20, he was taunting the fans in San Fran, and then he looked like a goofball because they lost. So I pass on him just because he's one of those players I can't cheer for. I'll hate having to cheer for him. So I'm going to go DL Chris Jones. It says KC right now. I think he's likely to land in Detroit, but
you think so?
I would love that if he was in Detroit, although I didn't get Hutchinson. That would have been nice. Just stack them both. I'll take Chris Jones, and then I'm going to pause this before it gets back to me. So the 4th round, seeing us go Logan Wilson, Jaquan Brisker, Antoine Winfield. I forgot his first name all of a sudden. No, TJ Edwards. That's not who I thought it was. TJ Edwards. We got Woolen, Alex Highsmith, Buda Baker, Donald, Walker, Chris Jones, Luvu, and CJ Gardner-Johnson. Not a fan. That will kick us off into the 5th round here. Yeah, 5th round. I'm amazed at the value on DB there with Antoine Winfield so deep down. I'm looking. I don't
have any analysis for my next pick. I'm just going to pick the top player because it's a flex. You know what I mean? But I feel like I did good in this one. You know.
It started with Buckner and Edmonds here. I don't know. I feel like because of my build, like, so I've got Watt's dual eligibility. I've got Burns as a D lineman. I've got Bosa dual eligibility. So I've got 4 players who are all eligible at D line. So I'm solid there. I've got 2 linebackers. I'd love to round it out with a DB. I just don't know. Like, I'm looking
Generally,
at my
that's a good
board.
strategy. That's what I would do. But I had Winfield sitting there at 4. I'm like, I would be a fool not to take
Oh,
that.
I'm looking. The player I want, I think, is buried. Let me see. I don't know. Oh, there he is. So the player I wanted was Kyle Hamilton. He's not quite buried, but he's down a bit. He is. I have him as my DB3 behind Winfield and Derwin James. So because I need one, I'm going to take it here and round out. It was between Kyle Hamilton for me or Patrick Surtain. So I'm going to go Hamilton and kind of round out my team and actually have a balanced build here. I don't love it. I feel like I forced it, but DB3 value that late's not too bad. You are on the clock after we see Richard Sherman. Is Richard Sherman retired? I don't even know. Is he still playing?
Richard Sherman, yeah, he's an announcer.
Yeah. So we have Richard Sherman drafted. Don't know. You want to tell me? You want to tell me the sleeper doesn't take IDP seriously? They had Richard Sherman ranked as a top 50 IDP player. That's all you need to know. Then we have Wright, Judon, Lawrence, Okereke, and Cam Jordan. You are up for your last pick at the 5'10". Who you got?
I don't really have any analysis here. Like I was saying, I'm going to take the best player on the board at 5. My draft build is already set, so it would be a linebacker. There's guys there. There's a Singleton. There's a David. Patrick Queen could go somewhere. Bobby
Queen's
Wagner.
already gone. Queen went the second round. He's long gone. Yes, 211.
Yeah, so really, and this is where it comes in. Who's the best player left on the board? If I was to choose, I'd go linebacker, but like sleeper doesn't really help us here. So
No, it
so
doesn't.
it could be anybody here, really. What says you? Who do you think the best player would be at this point?
I like Surtain overall. It depends who you like. You don't really. You're kind of balanced. You already have one of every position.
Yeah,
I love me some Christian Wilkins. I think for me, it's either Christian Wilkins. Wilkins didn't go, did he?
Well,
no,
you know what
not.
I could do. Devin Lloyd's there, and then also the other guy, JOK, still there. Those are up and coming linebackers too.
I had Lloyd as my third. So literally my 3, the sleeper actually might have gotten this right. I think my next 4 players on the board are Surtain, Wilkins, Lloyd, Wagner. So my top 4 are on the board in top 4 out of 5 slots.
So context matters. If we're doing redraft, Wagner, clearly. If we're doing dynasty, it'd be Lloyd. So,
see, really, for me, if we're doing dynasty, it's Surtain. Isn't Surtain the youngest? He's only 23. How young's Lloyd? 25.
See, if you've noticed my strategy, I really don't care about defensive backs, especially if there's just 12 people and it's only one spot. Because you're going to see guys like Javon Holland and people like that are going to be. You can stream defensive back in lineup setups like this. You can stream DL 20s to 50 in line setups like this. So really, elite defensive linemen and linebackers is my goal here. So I guess just for diversity here. CJ Mosley's there too. I guess you put CJ Mosley there if you want to. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's linebacker choice for my last pick.
All right. So that will conclude it. We've got for the 5th round, we have Buckner, Edmonds, Hamilton, Sherman, who is an announcer. I don't know. Good job, sleeper. We have Wright, Judon, Lawrence, Okereke, Jordan, CJ Mosley, Christian Wilkins, who I love, Patrick Surtain. So I don't mind this. Like this round here, because of how screwy their ADP is, there's some guys in this range that I like better than some of the guys they picked up here, excluding the Richard Sherman pick. So I think if we've learned anything, if you're doing an IDP draft, like I'm doing draft night out at the Expo, and I chose the IDP division, and it's hosted on Sleeper. So this is a great spot where if you're doing an IDP draft, do your research because you are not trusting the rankings. I don't ever trust the rankings on any of these sites to begin with. I don't know how many times I've been in a regular draft and gotten down and been like, oh, that guy's still on the board. So it's 10 times worse in IDP. So you ended up with Ernest Jones, Josh Allen, Denis, Hunter, Antoine Winfield, CJ Mosley. Pretty solid balanced build there. You got a little bit of everything. I got TJ Watt, Brian Burns, Joey Bosa, Chris Jones, and Kyle Hamilton. Also pretty balanced. I like my versatility. Like I said, I've got 4 guys who can play D line here, because I have 2 that are dual threats. That's always
real life bye weeks. You got to be able to flip them around and replace them.
And that for me, like I said, when it was here, I had the shot between Watt, Smith, Oluokun, and for me, when you have 3 players in a similar tier, go for the dual eligibility here because it is a like you said, it's a game breaker here, especially if you have flex positions where you can just. I love it. So, what stood out to you here? Anything aside from Richard Sherman being taken in the 5th round?
You know what that reminded me of? I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, Luke Kuechly was in drafts for like 2 years straight. Like, and everybody who timed out got Luke Kuechly. Like, you better watch that Richard Sherman thing. It's going to come up to get you. What stood out to me was in that 4th round, the Winfield. Like, why was he sitting there? 3rd round, Daniil Hunter. I mean, even if it's a dynasty, you still got to put him, back in top 10 in drafts, for DL anyway. But yeah, there was a lot of value to be had here if you look at it all around this board. Every round there was somebody you're like, what? Like, how did he fall? So
that reminds me, the ADP that reminds me of, I think it was 3 years ago, Yahoo had a brief screw up where for the first week they went live, in their rankings, the 101 was Matt Barkley in ADP because they meant Saquon Barkley. So anyone who got auto picked the 101 that week got Matt Barkley, the backup quarterback, not Saquon. So I think it was actually Matt tweeted it out himself that there was a mistake and he was the 101 in ADP. So
in ECR and Fantasy Pros, when we were doing our Marquez Bell, there was another one that was a free agent. It was like Mark Bell. I'm like, I got to make sure we put the right one in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is a wrap on our first 5-round IDP only startup dynasty mock. Thank you all for joining us. Check back. I'm not sure when we're going to do the next one. I know we've got today's Thursday. I think we're not doing our first combine coverage till tomorrow night. Me and you are going to do it tomorrow night, I think. Did we say that? I don't remember.
No, but I'm game. Whatever you.
I don't remember. I know we have it scheduled. I just couldn't remember if you said you were coming on, but I am going to do.
I'll make time.
I didn't want to do
one thing out of this one, Aaron. I think we could agree for our people at home that are doing startups. Exploit the ADP. Know where your players are. Set yourself a queue. Yeah, we kind of did this on the fly, but we proved the point.
There shouldn't be this much pink on the board in a normal draft, unless it's really skewed towards DB. But yeah, I didn't want to do a combine recap of IDP tonight because we still have DBs tomorrow. So tomorrow night, I'm going to do a recap, I think around 9:30 of all the defensive players and their combine. So I want to do it all in one time. And then I think Saturday night, we're going to do all the offensive players. The guys are going to do it. Oh, we've got a few comments in here. I didn't even see Mace was in here. How long have we been doing this? Oh, sorry, Mace. I didn't see you were in there. Crosby at 8 steal. I didn't even see
them robots, Mace. You got to watch them, man. They're taking over the universe. Right.
Then he's got Josh Allen. Mace, I didn't even see you in here, man. Remind me. I'll send Mace an invite next time. Judon is theft. Elite edge over everything.
He's a big Judon guy.
I had my screen zoomed in and switched over to the sleeper and didn't even see there were comments. My bad, Mace. My bad. All right. Well, that concludes tonight's draft. Thank you for tuning in to the Fantasy Football Universe. For Aaron and Steve, take care, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.
See you.